Hello and welcome to IT Security Labs, and happy Halloween to those who believe in Halloween stuff. And today's video is very exciting for me because we get to spend more time with Security Onion. And as you all know, we have a lab that we've been setting up on our channel, and this time we're actually setting up Security Onion. So welcome to everyone who is joining us today, including Tectonic. It's good to see you, man. Always great to see you and your support that you show up with every time. And today's video actually is going to be more of Security Onion. So if people are very interested in Security Onion, this is going to be the live stream to be at today. Let me just let everybody know, then we'll get started here. We'll look at the Shellshock vulnerability because I think it's an interesting one. Then we'll also look at what does it look like when we run. I think last time people were asking about Buster, and today we'll actually look at that. BT, good to see you, man. Welcome to our live stream. So let me just add this to our Facebook group so everybody can see that we are live.
Warren Limmer.
And it's trying to play an ad for me. All right, so if I say you're trying to install the right VM to install, yeah, if you have a new laptop and it's really, beefy, I think that you'll be good. VirtualBox is the way to go. I can show you what mine looks like here. Give me 1 second. So today I'm streaming through a different network. So let me know if there is any lag, I can switch to a faster network. This one doesn't have gigabit, but I think it should be good. Yes, you can definitely put pfSense on that network. Yes, I can show you what my desktop looks like here in a second. Just give me 1 minute. How much RAM do you have on that laptop? I'm curious. Nice. All right. Okay, so if you're going to be installing your lab in a desktop or a VMware Fusion type of environment, this is what I suggest that you do. Spend some time. Let me show you what mine looks like here. This is the setup that you can have in VirtualBox or Workstation or whatever system that you have. You can have a simple setup like this one where you have Security Onion which is running, but as you know, Security Onion is very resource intensive, so it's going to make things slow, especially if you are going to run a lot of logs through it. So this is a very minimalistic lab, and this is running in VirtualBox, pretty much Security Onion, Shellshock, and Kali. And as you can see, I don't put too many machines here, and these machines will be here, and just to make sure that I can capture the logs between these three machines. I'm not capturing logs for the whole lab. If you want a more interesting lab, then this is where you end up with something like this, where now you're talking about, a VMware ESXi host with 120 gigs of RAM or 60 gigs and so many CPU cores and stuff. With this lab here, it's more elaborate, but if it's just a desktop, I think you can add more VMs to this network here. Hello, Matthew. It's good to see you, man. Thanks for joining. All right. So today I decided that maybe we can spend more time really analyzing Security Onion logs and what they look like, especially what noise we are going to be generating. Last time we were trying to see what dirbuster or gobuster looks like when you're scanning directories, whether Security Onion is able to pick them up. We're also going to see the Shellshock vulnerability. I haven't done it, so I'm very curious, just like you are. What happens when you exploit Shellshock? Are we able to pick it up? Since it's a well-known vulnerability, I'm assuming Security Onion is able to pick it up right away. So we should make sure that we analyze what it looks like. Then you also get to see more of the Security Onion interface. And I think this is very helpful for everyone. Even if you're a pen tester, you need to be able to know how much noise you're generating before you go into a client's environment. That's why you need to know what tools to run and how much noise your tools are going to make. You don't want to be a pen tester who just get caught on the very first day, within the first hour, because you ran Nmap on a client's network. You want to make sure that you know what you're doing, and Security Onion gives us that platform where we can actually learn how much noise we are generating. And then today I just chose Shellshock because then we want to spend more time looking at the different aspects for Security Onion. We have this lab. For today's demonstration, I'm going to show you this Shellshock machine in my VMware lab. This is to help those who are also setting up this lab with me. This is our Security Onion that we're deploying. I'm running vCenter, but for most of you who are following along, your lab will look like this. If you don't have vCenter, it's pretty much the same thing. vCenter just gives me more, a better looking interface and more abilities. So this is what we have today. Here's my Security Onion. It's sniffing traffic that is going through the whole lab, so you get to see more traffic other than just this one. Here's my Shellshock VM, and if I go to the web console, you'll be able to see that this Shellshock VM got an IP address in my lab. So right now it's 192.168.38.12. So we are going to be attacking this machine here and capturing the traffic here. Let's check our Security Onion here very quickly. So it's on 192.168.38.10, and as you can see, it's already sniffing a bunch of other traffic, including Tor browser that I was running before this. So it can tell that there's more happening in this lab. Then there is a possible malware here that I was just making too much noise for this lab. But we're going to generate more traffic here. So as you can see, we're starting from scratch. I haven't done this. You get to see me do this as well. All right, so now that you know what we have, here's our router. And this router is just routing the traffic for the lab, for those who don't know the setup. The next machine that I'm going to introduce is running locally here. It's my Kali Linux. Kali Linux is also connected to the lab. So everything here that you're looking at is connected to the lab. Let's show the window for Kali. So we're signing in. This is my primary Kali Linux that I use for Hack the Box. So you see that I have more crap in here. But if I do an IPA, it's now 192.168 to 133. So it's the same network. So traffic should be caught from here. Let's ping our machine 192.168.38. I think it's 15. Yeah, so we are just making sure that we have connectivity from Kali Linux to Shellshock. And in this case, we verified that, no, it's 12. So Shellshock is on 12. I don't know who is responding on 15. Let's go back and make sure that we get to Shellshock. Let's show the window. All right, so let's go to 12. Yes. All right, let's get started here with our usual. This is what we do for CTFs, VulnHub, Hack the Box. I usually just start by running Nmap in my go-to, -SV, -SC. I thought about changing it today, but that's what I just do. So I'll just stick to what I normally do. So I'm scanning for service versions using save scripts on our machine that is running Shellshock. We already know, but hey, we need to go through the motions, right? And by running Nmap, we also want to make sure it gets caught in here. And this, for you as a pen tester, now you're getting to know that if you're going to be running Nmap, maybe you shouldn't be running the default scripts that like I'm doing. If you give this a couple of minutes, all these Nmap scans will be showing up here in my security onion. So I'll be getting caught right away. But let's focus on exploiting Shellshock for now, and then we can come and look at this, because this takes a couple minutes or so to index and show up here. All right, so here's what we have. Our attack surface is very small. We have port 22 and port 80, and on port 22 we have version 6. Usually 6 and above, these versions are not vulnerable, so we know that we're not exploiting SSH. At least we're not for now, unless if we really get stuck, then we might brute force SSH. But we also have port 80, and here it gives us the title. The machine is from Pentest Lab. And by the way, if you want this ISO that I'm running here, you can download it from VulnHub. So depending on whether you want to try it on your own, it was created by Pentest Lab, and you can find this ISO on VulnHub. All right, so we have port 80 here. So let's go and open our browser and go to port 80 on that machine. 192.168. We are going to .38.12. So here's port 80. This is what it looks like. So this is the Shellshock machine from VulnHub. So this is where I just downloaded the ISO. I set it up as Ubuntu, and you download it, you implement the ISO. So this is what we see. We don't have much here, except that we see that we have this CVE number, which we know this is not like a full-blown CTF, but if you search this CVE, it will also show you the vulnerability. But if we didn't know that, we can right-click and view page source. And if we look on this page source here, usually I don't find things here, but today we are actually seeing interesting stuff. Let's look here. We see that we have CVE. Let's see. I thought for sure I'll be able to see something interesting in here. Yeah, right here. This script right here is taking us to this location. Let's check that. I told you I haven't done this one, so you get to see what happens. All right, so we are able to see the status here, the uptime, the user, the kernel, vulnerability. It looks like, just like with the Shellshock vulnerability, there is this ability to run bash in the browser, which is not usually exposed to people. So this is a vulnerability that we have. But for the sake of our lab and what we want to accomplish, let's do the normal stuff that we would do. Right, let's go and run. Today, let's run GoBuster. I think people like GoBuster better. So let's go to, I have my cheat sheet here. Under my enumeration, I have GoBuster. Let's run GoBuster here and see how much noise GoBuster generates in Security Onion. This is not going to go very well if I'm not careful. My extensions, let's just go for PHP. Path to word list. Oh, my cheat sheet should have a path to word list. Okay. I can't believe I don't have a path to word list here. Okay, my URL is http 192.168.38.12, and my path to word list, let me run this so that it fails. Locate rockU.txt. All right, so this is the path to my word list that I want to use right here. All right, so now I just need to paste it here. All right, so GoBuster, I'm just looking at the syntax here, URL that. All right, this should run. So we're generating a bunch of noise now with GoBuster. Someone said, seems like GoBuster is a little faster than Derb. I have actually had different results. I find that Derb just goes by super quick. Then GoBuster, I find it more comprehensive. And the reason why I'm running GoBuster right now is because I really want to see how much noise it generates, because it's brute forcing a bunch of directories, right? We should be able to see it in action in Security Onion. At least Security Onion should be able to catch this. All right, let's go check out our Security Onion while this is running. What do we have as an alert here? Remember, it takes a little bit for this thing to index. Okay. Otherwise, if this is not if this is not sniffing, then we might be stuck with these alerts here. But so far, it's not showing my. Let's go to Kibana. Maybe Kibana index is faster before the Security Onion does. All right. Let's look at Suricata alerts. I find them to be more interesting to look at. All right, so we have a bunch in here. But none of my nmap yet. All right, that's okay. Let's see if we can just finish the exploitation for Shellshock, then we can go back and see what we can do. I'm going to find the easiest one, and I don't want to run Metasploitable. Metasploit, because Metasploit will not be caught. But hey, that's why we're doing this. Let's find out if it will be caught or not. Maybe I'll run the Python script instead. Okay. So let's do it this way. Search exploit. Let's search for Shellshock, because we know this machine is vulnerable to Shellshock. I don't want to run the Metasploit module because that's not exciting. Let's see if we can run this guy instead. But we need to keep it to the one that we know. Let's see, is it this one? No, this is Cisco. So when you run search exploit, you need to look at the actual environment here, and there are better ways to actually narrow this down. Here's an Apache command injection. So it's one of these. I think this is the one. I'll go with the Python script for today and see if it will work. And then we can do burp. I think burp will be even more interesting to see it getting getting caught. But let's start with the Python script first. Then after the Python script, we can try burp if we have time, and then Metasploit. But I know for sure that Metasploit doesn't get caught. Okay, can I set SimLab on a MacBook Air? If your MacBook Air has at least 16 gigs and a decent processor, I think you can. But Security Onion alone is running on 16 gigs. So MacBook Air doesn't have a fan. I mean, it does, but it overheats. I used to have a MacBook Air. It just overheats so bad. And I think I destroyed mine by running labs like this on it. So have a decent MacBook Pro for this one. All right, so we have this Python script here. I think we're going to go with this one for our Shellshock exploitation. Then we'll do a Metasploit later. All right, let's do that. Did I just accidentally close? Okay. But I want to make sure that my security onion is also capturing my attacks. So let me refresh this. You should have seen my nmap already. And if I don't see nmap here, then I'm beginning to think this thing is not sniffing my traffic properly. Can I refresh that? It did detect my Kali Linux here, but I'm not seeing my nmap results. They should be here by now, which makes me wonder. And if you're interested in seeing how to troubleshoot it, let's exit this one. That's not the one. Let's SSH into our security onion and make sure that all the services are running. 30.10. Oh, whoa. We need the proper user here. So if you end up with security onion, you need to know how to actually troubleshoot it and make sure that it's working, because sometimes you need to go in there and make sure that it's running. Sudo su. All right, there we go. So status, how is everything going for us? All right, so according to this, all the components for security onion are running. You want to see that they're all okay, like here. This is what you want to see. You don't want to see errors in here. If you start seeing errors, you need to fix the errors. You need to restart the services. But so far, I don't see any errors. So what is this thing doing for me? Okay. Let me refresh. Maybe I can say last 2 hours. All right. Maybe we need to generate more noise. So we did a search exploit. Let's just finish the attack first, and then we can check, see if we generate any. All right, now let's look at our Shellshock search exploit. If you haven't used search exploit, this is where you search your local database for known vulnerabilities, if you have it or not. If we do a search exploit and then we do Shellshock, we should be able to see that we have a bunch of vulnerabilities for Shellshock. And as you can see, Shellshock isn't just found in our version of Apache that we're running. There's other things that you can see Shellshock in. For example, this Trend Micro, whatever tool that they use, there's already tools that other people have in there. Yes, George, Security Onion has Straka included. You should tell the creators for Straka that they should look at the new Security Onion. I can actually show you the Straka part. It actually does go through files. I sent a Word document with macros in it. It was able to catch it earlier. Straka is a file analysis engine. So if you have files that are going through your network, Straka will go through the files and make sure that it catches everything. I mean, if there's macros or any bad stuff, Straka will actually find them for you. That's why it's very important, and that's why Security Onion is really, really interesting to play around with. All right, so we found some results here. I'm just going to go with the Python and let me verify that I have the right one here. Which one should I use? I think it's this one, the 34, because it is the one for Apache. So we should just use this one here. And because I'm lazy, I don't like to type and paste. This is what I do. I locate it. I know the path, but I don't want to mess with it. I've messed with this path before. So I just copy it like that. And we should be able to just run this Python and put it there. Then I will be able to put my payload after this. In this case, my payload should be, let's think. I would like to get a remote shell. Because with Shellshock, we can actually just run any commands that we want on the host, but it'll be interesting for me to just get a remote shell. So let me open a new tab here. And when we open that, Security Onion should also show us that someone opened a remote shell, and that someone is me. All right. And so for this one, we have that pay equals bind. You can see this in the, if you read the documentation for this Python script here. Payload is equals to bind. And what do I want? Remote host. And this is going to be 192.168.38.12. That's our machine, our port, which is equals to. So this is pretty much the Metasploit stuff, but I think Python is better. And then our page is equals to. Remember when we did view our page source, we had this /CGI. I think it was dash. I'm looking here. Bin /vulnerable. Let's go and verify that before I run this. Actually, you're wondering if Zero for making a wait list to see if we can see it in Security Onion. I'm not even sure if my Security Onion is capturing my attack right now. This is where I found the page. So if I view my page source, I think I found it somewhere. Was it status? Not vulnerable. Status. See, this is the location that I want. I think for it to work. Right here. So let's go back. It's not vulnerable. It's status. So this should give me a shell right away without any trouble. Let's see. All right, so we have an error. Let me look at my syntax here. Python our hosts equals. And let's try it. All right, so it did succeed right away. So there we are. We're able to get our Shellshock to work. So Shellshock works. This is just one way we ran the Python. And what I was hoping with Security Onion is I was hoping that I'll be able to see that I ran from a Kali Linux this Python script here, and I was able to run the exploit for Shellshock. I'm hoping things like Suricata and Zik should catch that. And my curiosity is, when it catches it, what does it look like when I run it from Python? What does it look like when I run it from Metasploit? But I know Metasploit is probably encrypted, so I won't be able to see anything. What does it look like when I run it manually? And that's the goal of these labs, right? So we just ran this. Now we just need to make sure our lab is working. And if I don't see anything here, I might need to go and troubleshoot this lab and make sure that I'm getting some data here. All right, so I don't see any data. and that is not good. So let's go to our lab setup. In this case, I'm going to vSphere. I'm going to make sure that if somehow I didn't change my interfaces. Nope, I didn't. I have my interface here. This is my mirror interface that I'm getting my data from. Let's check our switch. Make sure that our switch is actually still working and mirroring the data. So for those who haven't seen the setup, this is how I'm mirroring the data. And we are troubleshooting it live. Let's exit that. And if I go to my monitoring statistics here, I'm expecting this traffic here to mirror what's here. And ding, ding, ding. I'm not mirroring the right traffic. So for those who are here on this live stream, this is a really, really great moment for us, because what I'm doing is I'm mirroring traffic that is leaving my lab through pfSense. Today, I actually decided to have my machine inside the lab. So this traffic is not leaving. It's not going through pfSense. This is, what is it? I always get this wrong. East, west, northwest, whatever. This is with internal traffic, so I'm not seeing it. So that's why, that's why I need now to go and sniff the right traffic. So this is just really good. I'm glad that we get to see this. So I'm not seeing this there. I need to be able to see traffic that is coming through one of these interfaces. And all right, yeah, thank you. So what I'm going to do, just to be safe, I'm not sure which interface I have connected. I would actually have to look at the physical one. I can also do some guesswork, but how about I just mirror everything that's not this? I know it's going to be a lot of traffic. Port 1 is going to my pfSense. So let's just go to our configuration and mirror the right traffic here. Then we can get this going. So for mirroring, what we're doing is I'm going to port mirroring. And right now I'm mirroring port 1. According to these statistics here, I have port 2, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's mirror all of those. Guarantee my traffic. So now I want port 2, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't want port 1 because that's just too much data. Now if I apply that, watch the attacks work. Okay. Let me just, let me cancel. I need to save the configuration. Don't forget this. I always do this where I forget to save my configuration. So now my port mirroring should be mirroring these two, port 2, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know which one is connected to which. That means that I'm even mirroring traffic that is going to my storage. So this is new for me. You're going to see a lot of noise. But hey, that's what we do. This is a lab. That's how we learn. So now if we start refreshing here, we should see more activity here than what we were seeing there. But if it doesn't work, then something else. All right. Now that we did that, let's run our audio bus again. Go Buster 500. Now we should be at least be able to see. This should at least generate a bunch of directories that are being brute forced right now. All right. So with our mirroring in place, this is not instant though. It's not like right away. It takes a few minutes, I've seen, for it to actually see some stuff. But while it's doing that, let's look at other aspects of Security Onion, which are very, very interesting. The hunt. This interface, I find it very valuable, at least for me. Things you can narrow down to exactly what you need. Then you can request pickup from your security onion. And in this case, I think I have 4 days worth of pcap here. And I might have screwed myself by searching for 24 days in this environment, but my system is pretty beefy here. I have 16 gigs of RAM on this thing and 4 CPUs, so that shouldn't be a problem. All right. So this is the traffic that is associated with this IP address. I know what that IP address is because I was playing with it last time. But let's look here. Let's say if you are curious about what happened between that IP address and this host here. I want to look for something that's more interesting. Maybe this one. Look how cool this is. You can just click there and you'll be able to see the location, this IP address, and everything that happened between this IP address and our traffic. You can filter that traffic based on what you need. And in this case, I just expanded one. Where did it go? This one. Let's give it 1 more minute. All right, here is the event that happened for this alert. And as you can see here, there's the client IP address. I showed you this in a different video. That's why I'm showing you right now. You can say show pcap for this event. And I think this is a game changer. The fact that you can just click on security onion and say, show me a pcap of everything that happened for this event. That's what I was hoping to show you with my Shellshock here, but I can still demonstrate with this one. Here is a pcap. The full TCP handshake here, you can see it's actually set up for you very well. I think it's amazing. They did a good job in showing here. If you like this, you can actually just spend some time clicking on these events, looking at what happened, especially if you were curious about the different events that happened with these pickups. Or you can download it right there. And once you download it, you can just open with Wireshark. That's what it's going to open for me, at least, if you don't want to look at it this way. And I think this is a very, very interesting feature that they brought for analysts, so they don't have to leave this security onion interface. And if they want to request pcap, it's right there in front of them. And here it is. And here's the events as they showed up for me. And I know this was Microsoft Edge that was generating these events here. All right. So let's go back and check our security onion and see if we generated more alerts here while we're still there. Let's go to our alerts. Last 2 hours. Look at that, guys. I think we are now getting more noise than I anticipated. So if you are in your lab, make sure you're sniffing the right interfaces. So now, as you can see, I have more alerts from the last 2 hours. And if I sort these by severity, I should be able to see which ones it thinks are more interesting. So let's look for indicators of what we did. Like our Go Buster. Let's sort by count. I think Go Buster is going to have the most. HTTP user agent. Is it this one? Let's look at this one. I'm curious what it is. It says low, but let's look at it and make sure that we can check. So when you click on this escalate here, it will escalate your event to the Hive. So you can click on the Hive here and you'll be able to go to the Hive. The Hive is where you can spend more time. This is a Gmail account that I use for these things. And I check it once in a while. So if you have any questions for me, send me an email there. I do sign into it and look at what's happening. So here's the Hive, and this is the event that I just raised right now, that I just escalated. If I click on it, I should be able to see that this is the same event that we were looking at, and here's the rule description at least that we fired. I can now track that event in here. I can create myself some tasks, different groups. I even spent some time actually setting this one up because I don't plan on spending more time here. But in a production environment, this is where people actually track their cases, make sure that they're properly documented and everything is working here. So if you are doing it in production, this is a very, very important interface. But for me, I won't be spending too much time there. But that's how we can escalate our event. We can look for it in Kibana. Let's look at it and see what's happening in Kibana. I happen to be a big fan of Kibana to the point where I find myself looking at Kibana first before that other interface. So let's look for the past 2 hours here. Make sure that this is quick. That's 2 hours. Then let's apply. You want to make sure that you have NTP in your lab enabled. If you have your times off, this will throw you off. Make sure that your times are being managed by one. And which one was I looking at? Here is a possible COVID-19 URI that showed up today. But this is the event that we were looking at. Let's see if we have anything in there. So as you can see, it filters it for us right here. We had 71 count for that. And this event was going to the internet. So that is not what we are after. Let's narrow down our traffic. Wow, this is still going. Let's narrow down our traffic by just searching for the IP address of, can I do that? Of our Kali Linux in our security onion. Oh, I can actually leave that. Our Kali Linux IP address is 192.168.38.33. So if you are really seeing anything from Kali Linux, let's check for that first. That way we can see all the noise from Kali Linux. Let's start with the HART interface. Interesting. I don't see anything from my Kali Linux. Maybe I'm still not getting the right data. This is interesting, guys. Really? Let's look in Kibana. And see if our Kali Linux is showing there. Otherwise, if my sniffing is not working properly, then we will figure out why it's not working. And this is part of the lab, right? Source.ip. I think I can do that. I think if I put a space there, let's see. Banner, give me some stuff here. What do I have from that IP address as source? So if you didn't know what you were looking for, this is how you can search in here. All right, so I jinxed myself. The alerting interface is the one that is not giving me the data. So I came to my Kibana here and I said, hey, Kibana, give me all the traffic that came from this IP address as source. And this IP address, as we know, is my Kali Linux. So all the traffic that we are looking at here is what we generated. And I can tell you by just looking at this, that this is our Deerbuster, because we are targeting port 80. and we are going to this destination, and we're changing these ports. This is us brute forcing directories. You will not get anywhere in most environments with this type of attack. Anyone who has a web application, they have a timeout. If you start doing this brute force like this, it will time out, and some firewalls will block you. So for those who are wondering what GoBuster or DirbBuster or Dirb looks like, this is what Dirb attacks look like. So this is actually, we have 132,266 events from my Kali Linux IP address. So that's one of the things. I was almost thinking it's not working. All right, so with that in mind, let's also add something else. Do I have alerts? With that, let's filter the results. I think Kibana is my reliable source now. Let's look at event. I think we can do this, and now it's getting interesting, right? We're saying, hey, give me alerts that were generated by this IP address. Now we are looking for how much noise did this IP address really cause in our lab. And sure enough, all the events here are showing my Kali Linux as the source. But this is not the full story though. What if it was the destination? I want to see both ways, right? I don't know if this will work. I'm experimenting here. All right. Maybe I tried my luck too much. This is enough for us to see what we have here. I'm just trying to see if we generated anything that is interesting and worth pursuing. From here, I'm interested in the high. Really? It's saying suspicious GET request with possible COVID-19 URI. What is this? We didn't do that. You guys are about to discover something in my live stream here. This is an isolated lab that goes through an Amazon AWS. To secure my lab and give it internet access, I have machines in Amazon that are running that I just destroy and bring up. I use them as my VPN to the internet. So whatever you're looking at here, if it's of interest to you, it won't be after this. I will just kill that machine and get a new one next time. All right, so according to my security onion, this right here, traffic that was coming from my Kali Linux to this destination IP address triggered this rule, and it's something to do with COVID-19. I'm not sure why it's saying that, but that's what we have here. And again, we're seeing all the same traffic. I'm pretty sure this is some brute forcing that we did, but let's look at the actual traffic here. Make sure that we're actually talking about the right traffic here. Yeah, it is our user agent GoBuster. So as you can see, it's actually very specific. GoBuster is caught in the action. I mean, there is no doubt that this is GoBuster traffic because the user agent actually tags GoBuster. So what does this mean for us as defenders, right? As defenders, we can quickly deploy our infrastructure in a way that if you see this type of behavior, automatically reject it. Don't even bother looking at these alerts. Maybe set up your firewalls in a way that will block multiple brute forces. So if you say, hey, firewall, if you see multiple connections from one IP address in 10 seconds, 20 requests, maybe make sure that you block that host for 10 minutes, rate limit it. You can make sure that when you're deploying applications, don't allow brute forcing on your applications. Fix that. And then on the networking side, we can also automatically create rules to make sure that if anything, if it fails, then we can actually catch it here. So GoBuster was caught. What we are interested in was Shellshock. So since we know that we have traffic here, what can I do to search for Shellshock related events? Or can we just look at here? Let's look at what else we have here. Exploit kit. Let's look at that one. So this is how you can use Security Onion to really quench your thirst, your curiosity for what happens when. And I find it exciting to think around. So again, from Kali to our machine, this is interesting traffic. What is it? All right. Oh, this is more GoBuster stuff. So GoBuster made a lot of noise here. But the rule that caught GoBuster in this time is the exploit kit. So there is multiple rules that might catch you. And in this case, it's mostly because we did get for this. All right. Let me do my Shellshock again one more time and see if I will be able to find it in here, because that's what I'm more interested in. Control. Because maybe when I did it here, it wasn't working. How do I exit out of here? Let's stop this one because it's just generating too much noise. We now know what GoBuster looks like and how much noise it generates, and that is sort of interesting. But let's run this one more time. This one, and I need to figure a way to kill it in here, which I don't know. Control C, Control Z. Okay, Command Z. That's how we kill it. All right, let's do it again. This time, we want to see if we go to our intrusion detection system. I want to see traits of us doing this attack and actually requesting this part here. That's what I'm looking for using this Python script. And it finishes right away, which is good. But did we catch it? This might take a little bit for it to index, for Security Onion to index everything, but let's refresh it here. Otherwise, I might have to go with burp. If I do an intercept and I adjust it, maybe I'll be able to catch it. Let me know if you're one of those experienced people with pen testing stuff. How do I generate enough noise to sit in here for Shellshock? Okay, what is this? Oh, isn't this interesting? ET web server possible CVE. Is that the CVE number that we have for Shellshock? Maybe we did it, guys. We did it. Maybe this is the one. Because Shellshock is so prevalent. All right, there it is. Moment of truth. I want to see what it looks like. Yes, we're on the money, guys. This is the noise that I was talking about right here, and we're able to catch it. So this is what this is what our Shellshock command Python script did for us to get that shell, and we were able to get it right away. And as you can see, if you run any publicly known vulnerabilities to a defaultly installed Security Onion, it's proving that the rule set that we are applying, the open source ones, will actually have them included. And that, to me, is a big win for us, because now we know that we can trust this thing, at least with the default rules right now, to catch any of those random, easy, low-hanging fruits in our environment. So that's what I wanted to demonstrate today, that we can show you a Shellshock vulnerability we did a get on the CGI status like we did, and we got it. Is there anything that people are curious that they want to see? I didn't do anything with files. I would have looked at Straka to see if Straka caught this. I didn't upload or download files, but here is what we can do. I have another laptop right here. I can, yeah, I can download stuff from a different laptop, and Straka should be able to run through it. But what does Straka files look like from here? Let's go to Home, File, okay, we don't want Zik files, we want only Straka files. And let's do, I don't have any interesting files here. Last time I downloaded a file from my Kali Linux, it was just a PHP reverse shell. This thing caught it right away. So that's what we have here. Yes, awesome success. We were able to see this thing in action. And this is exciting. There's more things that we can do with Security Onion. I don't think I'm doing it justice. So don't just check my go for it. The one thing that really blew my mind is pickup. I mean, the ability to work with pickup here is amazing. To just request pickup from within this interface, and it's very quick. Another component that blew my mind with this setup here is their integration with Grafana, especially their ability to tell me pickup retention. So right now I have 1 week worth of pickup. Remember, I don't run this lab 24/7. I just run it when I need it, then I power it off. But if I ran it all the time, I'll probably not have a week worth of pickup here. It'll be less than that. And the health and packet loss, as you can see here, my packet loss is terrible, 12%. Let me know in the comments for those who do this type of stuff. Packet loss of 12%. I think for a lab that is pretty decent given what I'm sending to it. I'm literally mirroring all the traffic, and I have a bunch of traffic that is going to my storage network. Actually, no, actually, I have a different switch for storage. I'm mirroring all the traffic in here, including all the traffic that is traversing through this lab. So that's pretty decent packet loss, I guess. We can try to reduce it. How many disk space do we need to save all pickups? For me, I gave it 0.5 terabyte, I think. Yeah, I gave it 500 gigs. I just happen to have a lot of storage. Like if I put all my storage together, I can have 12 terabytes in some RAID format, like RAID 6. The only trouble is I don't want to run a big storage array for a lab. That takes a lot of electricity. But yeah, I gave it 0.5 terabyte. You can give Security Onion requirements. I think it requires a minimum of 200 gigs. Yeah, it's 200 gigs for the machine. That's the minimum when you're testing it out. If you give it 400, you have a decent storage to work with. But that also depends mostly on how much traffic you are sending through that. If you're running Security Onion on your home network, for example, for my home network, which is not this one, I find that my Security Onion there goes through a ton of traffic, especially when everyone is working from home and there's TVs, there's IoTs, devices. There's all this noise generated by things. And by the way, I highly suggest that you deploy Security Onion at home. You find that there's a lot of chatty devices that you shouldn't, like those Roku TVs. Your garage door might be talking to other things. Your cameras might be on shutdown. You might not even know that. So you probably want to make sure that you deploy Security Onion and look at the alerts and respond to some of the things that you see in there. You'll be surprised how exposed, or at least how much noise and chatter things are generating in at your house. Let me just take a quick look here. Yeah, Ricardo, it says COVID-19, right? I think someone updated the rule to be a catch-all for ridiculous things, and it says COVID-19 URL there. That's not what it was. Oh, BT says you can put the destination as a Shellshock. Yes, I should have seen this when I was trying to look there. Yeah, thank you for the suggestion. I appreciate the help, guys. All right, so here are some improvements that I would like to do to this lab. I have SSD drives, so this storage space I'm going to convert it all to SSD. I mean, it's fast right now. I don't have any complaints, but I would like it to be SSD. This is VMware. This is great. I get free licenses from VMware, so that's good for me, but I would like it to be running in Proxmox so that I can deploy most of these things as containers and run with Portainer. I find that to be more exciting. So this was mostly to show people that this is what maybe a small business might look like, a small deployment for 100 users or something like that. They might have an environment like this, nothing complicated, but this can be better in Proxmox, I think. And I've been doing more research on Proxmox and it's fun. Or with 32 gigs of RAM, you think that 16 of that will go to Security Onion. They suggest that you give Security Onion 12 gigs on the website. 12 gigs of RAM, that's how great it is, and 4 CPUs. So, yeah, depending on how the processor that you have, Security Onion might take most of your resources. So if you're running a Security Onion VM, just run maybe 1 or 2 more machines, then you can capture some traffic that way. I wouldn't suggest running Security Onion and 3 or 4 Windows Server machines and Kali Linux. That might end up slowing things down significantly. Would you recommend running Security Onions in? That is a really good question. I actually, for my home network, I have my Security Onion running on an old HP desktop, not as a VM. I just formatted the desktop and installed Ubuntu. I didn't boot from the Security Onion. I installed Ubuntu 16 and then installed Security Onion on top. And then that's what is sniffing my home interface. And that machine has 2 interfaces, and I'm able to make it work. So if you have an old machine that's laying around and you can run Ubuntu and the processor is supported by Security Onion, you can just have it as a standalone one, and that one is running great for my home, and it has a terabyte SSD and it's working perfectly fine. So you don't need to put it as a VM. If you have a hard time though with running it on hardware, just put VirtualBox, then forward the traffic from your physical interface to the VirtualBox. You can just directly make it work. But yeah, so our company here, for those who are brand new to this channel, we have a company from my favorite video game, GTA 5, and this is Trevor Phillips Industries. So that's why it's TPI Data Center. And we have this data center is in the Los Santos, which is in the game Los Angeles. And our goal was to create an environment for us to be able to see things and monitor it. And I think secretly my goal was to make this lab well monitored than most small companies out there. So for example, we did spend some time last time monitoring our Active Directory environment. I think this is interesting. We did spend some time monitoring our activity environment, making sure that if some people log in our environment, we'll be able to tell. So if someone is brute forcing our Active Directory, or if somebody's changing passwords, creating privileged accounts, I'm already monitoring them in this Grafana machine here. Or maybe it's Grafana 2. Let's power this one on. Oh, video number 3 is there. I think I didn't put it in the playlist, but if you look on the channel, video number 3 shows up there. I just need to make sure that it's in the channel. And I run multiple versions of Security Onion. The goal was to have one Security Onion for the main lab, then have this pfSense here, create a new network within this one where I can do the pen tests type of stuff and malware analysis and stuff like that. That is also separate from this. So this is a lab inside of a lab, and that can be done. I already have the network set up for it. I just need to make sure that it works. And our data store, so far we have free 2.7 terabytes. So that's enough to play around. This lab might cost me $30 to $40 a month if I ran it 24/7, but I don't. I only run it a couple days or 3 days a week when I'm just tinkering in there. Awesome. All right, I'll wait here for another 5 minutes or less, and if nobody has questions, we can call it a night. But thank you for joining me today. We were able to look at our Security Onion events, in particular our alerts. We saw COVID-19 showing up there. There's a lot of things that show up here, and this is, if you're brand new to Security Onion and you're considering deploying it, this is what it looks like. You have an alerting interface. This is real-time alerting. Usually in my lab, 2 to 3 minutes, I'll be able to see some traffic here. And as you can see, we have a lot of alerts. Your goal is hopefully to clean things up and really tighten things in your environment. If you're running it, say, at your house or at your company, that the alerts that show up here are actually things that matter. Things like possible Tor network. If you're in a production environment, maybe you can create group policies and firewall rules to just block this traffic if you don't want it to work. So there are ways to make sure that this noise doesn't even get generated too much. And then once you have it set up, you can now start hunting for events using the hunt interface here. And this interface is really my favorite, mostly because of what it does. It shows us here the same events, potential bad traffic with COVID-19 URIs. And by the way, this video will be demonetized by YouTube anyway, because we have mentioned exploits, hack, and stuff like that. I don't make money from these videos on YouTube because of that. And in fact, they might ban me from what I do here. I've seen other people get in trouble. So if you wanted to look in the hunt interface and not go to Kibana, you can spend some time and pretty much get all your information that you need here. And as you can see, here is GoBuster being caught within the hunt interface. You can show the pickup for this particular event, and see who initiated the conversation, what really happened in the pickup format. And I think that's valuable. We also have Cyber Chef in the playbook. If you really wanted to spend more time, you actually end up with your playbook and creating more things. But here is what pickup looks like. So I'm just sort of recapping what we went through here. And you can take it from here. Yes, I do these live demos every Sunday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And today I think I missed some people because of daytime savings. So every Sunday, 9 p.m. or 9:10, we'll be here doing this. And usually it's just me also learning with you. Sometimes I prepare ahead of time, but most of the time it's just a live demo of, hey, this is how we learn. And most likely you might find yourself learning the way I do, and this is what we do. So yeah, if you're brand new to my channel, please consider liking and subscribing, and also become a member and support the channel if you can. Otherwise, this is super fun stuff. And next Sunday, I'm hoping to proceed with Security Onion. This is our new tool. The goal here is to hopefully introduce ourselves to Security Onion, and at the end, maybe come up with structured content where we can pursue specific things like, hey, if you were brand new to Pickup, what are you looking for in Pickup when you're looking in Pickup here, and stuff like that. So thank you all for joining. Subscribe and like. Otherwise, I will see you next Sunday. Thanks.